I was like, oh man, he's gonna get the first ever neck burn. We're gonna hit him with air. No, what? I actually do think he actually was racing Chase knowing that he wasn't gonna race with him. And if he wasn't racing like that, he gonna make him believe that that's the way he was going. He was nervous on there. He's like, this ain't wood racing. This ain't ruts out there. I ain't like, this is unfamiliar to me. But dude, I'm like riding pretty good. What's up, guys? You know who it is. It's your boy JS7, and you know where we at. We're at the Rewind Show, baby. Round 11 from Detroit, Michigan. 8 Mile. Old school, like future Eminem kind of throwback. Last weekend, we had that German chocolate. He came back. He was a resurrection. He came back out of the middle of nowhere.
Oxen is back in the winner's circle!
Will he do it again this weekend? I don't know. Or will Eli come back and do what he does? Or Sexy Second? Or the red plate holder, Mr. Cooper Webb? So you know what we got to do, people. We got to get into it. Let's check it out. So compared to last weekend, you had Indianapolis, which was like a hair comb. The track was super sticky, rutted, very difficult. As I said, it was the hardest track of the year, in my opinion. And I think the riders said the same. It like rookies out there. And then you had this weekend in the same kind of like geography and the mapping system, but complete opposite. Super hard pack, actually a little loose on it, but it's hard underneath, which makes the track super slippery. And I believe these guys actually end up, some of them went to like a groove tire, or like the Austin Powers kind of groovy baby.
Groovy, baby. Groovy, baby.
Tires, which would you only have in like Phoenix or a hard pack track, or even like Vegas back in the day. So it was completely different than last weekend. So you felt like it was for these guys, it was going to be a better and easier track. The track was kind of basic, had some, 180 switchback sections on there. So the only challenge this weekend was going to be the sole, because they actually had a bigger set of whoops and they ended up cutting that down after practice. And I think a lot of that kind of came from the whoops. When you get them that big and then you end up in the 90, you kind of have what happened with Danger Boy and Jordan Smith. Like, once you commit into them, like, you can't stop. So the bigger they are, you have to like keep gassing them all the way through. And just like Tampa, when they cut them down there as well, I think if it was a 180, you have more room to bank off of. But when it gets 90, you have an incident where people could be in the stands, Matt Gorky back in the day, or slamming each other. So they cut that down for safety. Other than the whoops in practice, the track was pretty basic, and so it came down to start. Now, for the last few weeks, actually all year, I've been telling you, Aaron Plessinger has been riding good. He's been riding good. I felt like he was going to get a win, and he was about 3 laps away from that. But people are kind of shocked. Like, he's like, oh, he holds shots, and he actually ran away. And to be honest, the way he pulled away, I would say, was kind of the most dominant, like, victory almost-ish all year, even more than like Chase, even more than Eli. Like, he just was pulling away, kind of like Anderson did a few weeks ago in Texas. So to me, it's not shocking. He's been riding really well. I think when he ends up going down to the end, maybe a little bit of pressure, but also I can see how that would happen. But that just kind of tells you what a start does, one, and then two, how close all these guys are. Because if you're looking at Jason Anderson, he's riding good in the heat race, but El Hombre, I don't know where the hell he's at. Like, on there in the main event, he just kind of goes missing. But then a couple weeks ago in Texas, he gets a whole shot, or he's up front and just runs away, kind of like Aaron Plessinger does. And so it's really about a start and kind of where these guys are in the headspace, because they clearly, you can have Jason Anderson run away from these guys. You can have Aaron Plessinger run away from these guys. And they're not even in the top 3 in points, and they haven't even won races. So I guess my point is everybody's so close, but you really have, as far as the racing wise and championship guys that's going to fight for every inch, that's Chase Sexton, that's Eli, and that's Cooper Webb. I think that's the difference why sometimes you'll see a Jason Anderson hold shot, feeling good, run away from him. And Aaron Plessinger, even though I think he's been riding kind of consistent all year, I think even with him, he gets up there, he's inspired, he still wants that race victory. He can do this. The difference between Anderson and Aaron is that Anderson's a champion. Anderson won 7 races last year, and I think with him, he's in a headspace where kind of like I got in, between my Yamaha and Suzuki days when you won and that's all you're used to, you're fighting for championships. It is hard to be out there racing and not fighting for a championship or not like fighting for wins. And so when Anderson gets a good start, he's up there, he'll battle. In the beginning part of the year, he was battling for those third places. I think right now is that like he knows the title is gone. He hasn't been close to like really winning a race as far as in a main event, like in a 20-minute main event. And so when he gets a bad start, I think the difference between what you see in the heat race, he gets the whole shot, gets up there, passes, then he might win a heat race. In the main event, he gets a fifth place start. He's like, all right, not saying he's quitting, but I just think he's in a position where everything that can go wrong and his whole mental aspect of like used to winning and wanting to win and going for a championship compared to being where he's at now, it's just hard for a guy to keep fighting for that. And this is by no means no knock to Jason. This is kind of what I went through, and it's not he's not quitting. It's just hard to, when you race for something, to not be racing for that something, when you're that good and you champion. And he came in expecting maybe a championship this year. He's halfway through it. He's nowhere close to that. He hasn't even won a race. That's the mindset, where Aaron Plessinger has been riding the same all year on there, and he might have some races here and there, but I mean, a few weeks ago, Tampa, he was running third. He's been riding good all year. So when he start dipping out and these fools like yeehaw cowboy and whatever you want to do, it ain't surprising. Dude's good. I told you, he was good. Almost had me looking good. I'm just waiting for Coke 45 to come back. I don't know where he at. He's still laid up, but Aaron Plessinger, you rode good. So in the championship, as I said, you got Aaron Plessinger, you got Jason, you got these other guys, and even Adam Cincerella. Adam Cincerella looked pretty good. Like, he looked good last weekend. He looked good this weekend. Like, just more racy. You could tell, like, this weekend he was almost caught in between of what I was saying with Barsha last weekend. Like, you could catch somebody, but, like, passing them the way the track was set up, like, you had to, like, it was a little bit harder to pass somebody even though you can catch them. Well, this weekend, it was like with Adam, like, they would catch them, and then you could get past in a lot of different ways because you would have to leave corners open, like those cross back and forth with the mechanics area. Like, you had to block past somebody's with 180s. And so you could tell he was still in that, like, racy mode like he was last weekend, but also at the same time, like, I'm just trying to get these laps in. And so I think what happened was these guys started jumping on him, and he was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, look, just trying to chill. And then he realized, like, dude, I'm kind of, like, still here. And I still think Adam's riding well. He's getting better as the year goes on. And then and I think he fell at the end. But overall, Adam was fine. But back on the big three, I would say with all three of them, Eli last weekend, he said he had a neck problem, right? He had a neck problem. Looking around too much, I don't know what it was. Like, Cooper was on him at Daytona, maybe strained the neck from whatever it was. But he had a neck problem. And then Chase he got some problems, right? Like, we got to, whatever. He got some problems. And then Cooper has his issues. So this weekend, it was like Chase got a bad start. He kind of methodically made his way up through the field. And kind of what I said at Daytona when Chase was the third, he wasn't leader. Like, he was the guy that was chasing, that maybe that would be a better scenario, like, for him. And I think this weekend, he was still, like, riding, like, a little cautious. In practice had some issues, like, mistakes as they all did. But I think the track being a little bit smoother and not as difficult in the sense of, like, you can make a lot of mistakes how last weekend was. And the fact that he was just passing, like, making his way up, I think it just kind of made him more relaxed. I don't think he had any intention of probably trying to win that race on there. Aaron was gone. But when he was coming up, he gets past Eli, win. Gets past Cooper, a win. He gets past Barsha, and then you don't get knocked down. That's a win too. So I think he was there, and he tried trying to push for Aaron, but Aaron still held his own. And then basically with him, the circumstances flipped. He was the guy that was doing what Aaron did, and then he ended up winning the race. But I think that kind of came from him just being, like, almost in a position like, you made your way up. This is kind of where you're going to finish at. You got a bad start. The pressure wasn't on you to win the races, and the guys that you're trying to race for in the championship, you end up beating them. So for him, like, I don't even know how to explain this kind of win. It's like, how much does it do for his confidence? I don't even know. Like, I don't even know. I don't know if it's going to be one of those situations where he goes, like, finally all the demons are done, or a situation where something can happen next weekend, or he believes, like, I fixed it. I don't even know. I guess time would tell, because it's not like he was put in the situation where he's been having these issues and then, like, solve that problem. He got put in a situation that he hasn't been in, and then, he came up, he rode the best out of the big three, and then Plessinger goes down and he inherits the win. He wins the race on there. So he hasn't been in that position, so I don't know how that's going to go forward. With Cooper, I think what we saw this weekend with Cooper was just that determination, like that fight, and why people are like, oh, man, you guys are on Cooper, the Webb wagon and whatnots. What happened with him and, Eli, he gets past, things start going wrong, and Cooper's like, dude, like, I don't know, maybe he wasn't feeling good, like feeling it, whatever. But then he fights back, and he just kind of keeps everybody else on there. So with Chase, like, it was just, he got put in a situation that, like, he hasn't been in all year, and he was able to handle it. And when you look at this track, how simple it was, everybody was kind of going the same speed. The only place Chase was faster was, like, through the air, like through the rhythm section. You go across the mechanics area, you go that switchback, hit the double, jump back over to start. That next rhythm section, like, just look at him. I think he almost passed Cooper or somebody right there. Actually, he passed a couple people there. But just look at him move through the air. Like, that split lane right there was the only place he was faster. And it was so blatant that it's like what is he doing? And that's one of the things Chase is good at, like using his legs or whatever it is. He goes past Cooper right there in that rhythm section. So that was the only spot he was faster, was just really through that one rhythm section. And it was quite a bit faster. And that's kind of where he made up all his time at. So for him, again, moving next week, we'll see what happens. A win's a win. No matter how it comes, no matter how it is. Like, in fact, maybe he could say he put that pressure on AP to make him go down. So he dominated, whatever you want to look at it. I just think for him, since he hasn't been put in a situation where he actually was able to fix the demons that's happened in the past, it's time would tell if he's got those fixed. Now, Cooper's just the guy on there. Things weren't going right. He's getting people passing him. Cooper don't like that. He don't like that. Maybe bike ain't working good. He don't like that on there. Eli passes him. He don't like that either on there. But Cooper just fights back. And it was like when I'm watching Cooper, it's like when things get tough and things maybe not going well, it looks like he might almost crash, the bike doesn't look well. When I say I would be shocked that Cooper ain't somewhere up in the front, but I wouldn't be shocked if Chase runs away from him or he has a crash or Eli does what he does. That's why, because Cooper looked uncomfortable to me on there. And then if you think, like, out of all these guys, when people start getting passed like that, all three of them, like when people start getting passed and you look uncomfortable, like usually another mistake or something happens where, like last weekend, Eli's neck was hurting. He didn't look good. He just finished eighth. Just finished eighth on there. Chase is having his issues. He's up there, maybe uncomfortable. Bam, he's on the ground. But Cooper just keeps fighting on there. So it's just not surprising to watch him do what he does. And when people who haven't raced and kind of pay attention to that stuff, that's why a lot of people said Cooper is not the guy that I want to be racing in the title with. Ricky talks about him. I talk about him. He just has that part where just nothing really gets to him. These guys are faster, struggling, they pass him. He just sits there and passes them back and just fights. And they know it as well. That's why, like, it puts those guys in a situation where sometimes they end up making a mistake or they pass and they know it ain't over. Now, with Eli, yeah, he got third place. And it was better than last weekend. And the only difference between me and Daytona, like this race in Daytona, was that it was in Daytona. That was really it. Like, he kind of looked the same as he did in Daytona. He was up front. He was able to win it. But this weekend, he was up front. AP just ran away from him. But he got passed by Chase. He got passed by Cooper. And he would have got fourth. But AP crashed. I still see the same thing on there. Like, they're still struggling. Like, now, we don't know how bad his neck is, right? Like, I've had a bad neck and bad back. Now, brother, y'all know, like, no man, like, when your back hurt, you don't want to do nothing. You ain't picking up little Johnny. You don't want to, I don't even like answering the phone. My back hurts. So, hey, if his neck hurts, you got to expect like, hey, 8th place, like, damn, you should give him a stew for that, like for reals. But with him, it's like he's riding like fast enough where it don't look like he's hurt, but it looks like he's just uncomfortable. This weekend was like a mix between like Tampa, that slippery track, like I don't really know, like uncomfortable, like I ain't gonna let it go. And then last weekend and like Daytona, this was like a baby, like a mutt. I don't even know where that is. Like it's all those combined, and that gets him a 4th place on there. I'm gonna say 4th, but it gets him a 3rd place where he's like there, he's like going fast, but you never really saw him as a threat. But he was like there, but he looks like he's uncomfortable. But then he does some Eli kind of stuff, like oh damn, and then he's still just kind of there. I mean, at the end of the day, like all these things are going on, and I mean he's struggling, back hurts, neck hurts. I almost said something else hurt, but that ain't hurt. And he's just like whatever. But he's only like what? I think he's a few. How many points did he have, Cole?
He's 3 points.
Exactly. So he's like right there. So one victory, he'd be in front. So as much as we keep saying all this stuff, and he's won more than everybody else does. I mean, Chase just got his 3rd win of his career, right? Eli's got 5 this year. So, I mean, at the end of the day, like how much we really got to worry. But for us, is that like I'm seeing little old reminiscences. It's like Back to the Future, Back to the Past on there, a little Kawasaki ET mode, but I'm seeing a dominant ET, and I'm seeing somebody else. There's just a lot of ETs going everywhere, and I don't even think he knows because his back hurts, his neck hurts. So we'll see. But that little scraggly little dude with the red plate, damn, that KTM looked good on there. That Yamaha looked weird as hell without a number 1 like that red plate. I don't know when last time he had a non-red plate since he had a red plate. Probably last time he didn't have a red plate on there was last time I seen him without a red plate. With Eli, it's the same thing that I said at Daytona. Like when his bike's in the deeper part of the strokes, or when the thing gets, deep, it just looks uncomfortable, like unsure. Same thing that's going on in the slippery stuff. But he gets past Cooper on there. Cooper is struggling like in the corners and stuff. He gets past Cooper, and then he kind of pulls away. And the next thing you know, he's going down the rhythm section. Like he goes triple, just like what Cooper does. But if you watch Eli in between like the rhythms, it's like you see a pause like on there. Like when I'm watching his bike, I see it like go down and then up. It's like a weird pause on there. Like it's not like smooth. Like he's not able to go like through smooth. And so in the beginning part of the year, when I talked about like when his bike touches stuff, like it has its absorption on it. When we did the breakdown through the woods, like that double D effect, it's like when he clips things, like it works well. Like it still works well when he clips things. But this year, it seems like as the seasons, the jumps gotten bigger, they start going faster. In between, it's like once he clips and when that bike's loaded up, he has this wiggle on there. And it's the same thing you will have if you had, like when you land off stuff, you try to turn, how Malcolm crashed last year off that. I think it might have been in Detroit or one of the races. He crashed, land, and the thing takes off from him. So worst thing you want to have as a rider. So when I'm watching Eli, everything he does in the rhythm sections, just like Daytona when he was struggling, but particularly here in that rhythm when he gets passed by Cooper, he doesn't make a mistake. He doesn't miss a triple. Cooper just continues just going forward and going through. Eli's bike is going down, and it's like he's like super hesitant in between all the like transition. That's how he gets past. He had a gap going on before that rhythm section, but him being unsure about what's going on. And if you pay attention to the last like triple, then they double in and Eli goes outside. Watch his bike in that last, like when he lands off that triple and then goes into double. Watch his bike has like a weird, like it's like it twists on him on there. Like that's that part where in the bottom part when it's super loaded, that unsure, like he feels like it'll get down and it's gonna tuck on him. When you watch that in fast like motion, like you'll just see it and it has like a little wiggle through it. Then you watch Cooper, and Cooper's just like landing, like going through a Barsha, going through Chase, going through. So I think that's what I watched with Eli. It's like a rider that's like when I was like Tampa, Daytona, and then last weekend all mixed. Certain parts of the track, like he was really good after the whoops, across that start, back through there. Anywhere it was kind of like flat, that thing wasn't loaded, that's where he pulled away from Cooper. He was good there. But in those long rhythm sections, like when he was getting that bike loaded up and that Dragon's back and all that, he was struggling. So I think that's just really the same thing that's been going on all year with the bike. Where his bike works well at is the flat stuff, clipping things, but these long transitions, that's why he can pull away from them and then doesn't make a mistake, and they'll close right back on him. And I think that's frustrating for, you know, a two-time champ and all these stuff, because he ain't going no faster until they fix that. Like, I mean, you can't ride through that. Like, ride through it means your ass is going to be like AP on there. Like, he's trying to avoid that. And so with Eli, I think the difference of maybe even last year, well, I didn't see those things with his bike, but when you were younger, you'd be like, forget it. I'm going to do what Deegan does. Like, I'm here, baby. When you get older and you're like, look, man, I just want to get back to see my kids, then you just going to be like, whatever. Like, I'm just going to ride, make sure I don't hit the ground. And if that don't hit the ground, it's going to be in 3rd, 4th place, or sometimes 8th, then that's what it's going to do. So when I say, like, he ain't going to change, people, like, he ain't going to change, well, that's what's going to happen. Eli rode as good as he was going to ride this weekend. That's good. He got 3rd. He's only 3 points back. So in his case, if you ain't going to be the most dominant guy or just outrun cats, then you're going to have to do the survival of the fittest on there. And hopefully they make mistakes, and just most of these tracks, they just work for you. So I actually believe, like, now thinking about it, all 3 of these cats are in a position where they can just end up winning the title. Chase is the fastest. He is the fastest. I would say if he don't crash and he gets his demons, he can win, right? And it wouldn't even be surprising. He could just run off 4 or 5 of them. Cooper is the most grittiest consistency. Like, out of all those 3, I would say Cooper. Not because he's the fastest or something, but just because, like, he's racing. Like, he's just, his whole mentality is like, you ain't going to mess with me. And just when it gets tougher, he rides better. Eli is like the opposite. He's the defending champ. You know, he's the red plate until last weekend. He's won many of these things. He's almost got my ass. He won a lot of these things. So he ain't going to hit the ground on there. He's just going to, hopefully, he's fast enough to beat Cooper on most of the days, and Chase is going to crash on most days, and I'm going to win this thing. That's how he's going to win the title. He ain't just going to run off like he did last year and just be like, I'm just going to 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm just win many of these things in a row. His bike ain't set up like that, and he ain't going to ride like that. Remember, people, he's supposed to be retired. He wasn't even supposed to ride outdoors last year. He rode outdoors. He wasn't even supposed to race this year. He riding this year. He's committed to outdoors. So he's already in for, he's like playing with house money. So the dude ain't going to like blow his chips. So it's going to be interesting to watch these 3 guys and figure out who steps up and runs away, because each of them can win for different reasons. And I think the way they're going to, whoever wins this championship is going to be dictated on what they do, but also dictated on what everybody else does around them. 2 guys that are racing. And that's kind of unlike it's been in the past. I actually never thought about that. Like, Cooper can win because Chase keeps falling and Eli's like not going to fall on there. Eli can win because Cooper's not as fast and Chase falls on there. Chase can win because, damn, he just stopped falling. He just beats him. Like, they all could win for different reasons on there. And you wouldn't even say, well, that guy was better than the other guy. It's just like, well, that guy, he kept doing what he was doing. That other guy kept doing what he was doing. And the other guy kept doing what he was doing. And I won. That's it. You know, to be honest with you, like, when Chase passes Barsha through the whoops, I actually feel like with Barsha, and I was saying the way those whoops were, even though they shaved him down, like, I don't really think Barsha really could have done anything. Like, you had to keep on the gas through the whoop. So even though he goes in, like, if the whoops are small and you can get to the inside, I'd be like, all right, you know, suspect. But honestly, the only other way Barsha would have not passed Chase back is if he would have just slammed on the brakes and rolled the rest of those whoops. Because otherwise, like, they were big enough where he had to keep on the gas. Well, if you keep on the gas, then, like, you're going to end up in that guy on there. So for Chase's, you know, honestly, like, I actually think Barsha did him a favor, because he actually started going, like, faster to let Chase know that, like, dude, I ain't going to roll these things. And he got back close to him and he passed him. So I don't think that was as bad as it could have been. You know, Barsha changed man on there, but even, like, changed man or not, that would have been the same thing. The only difference is maybe he did like a little, you know, little back end like swerve, you know, give him a little fishtail. Maybe the pass he would have done one of those, but, you know, that pass, the whoops, was dictated on those whoops. And then he's about to go down the wrong lane, down NASCAR track, like, and come on, man. Like, look, if you got a problem like, drinking, whatnot, it's like, and if I just show up, like, start like, hey, you want to see a beer here and there, like, you might be tempted, right? So when Chase cuts him off and he almost runs into hay bales going down another thing, it's like sparked him. He's like, like, I mean, what do you want me to do? Like, and you said he came down that next one right before that double, and then that double across the start. Like, you saw him like trying to get in there. He was like, yeah, and he was like, I'm gonna chill. But then when Chase jumps, and honestly, Chase jumps and he hits that first double, and he's so far close to those hay bales that he actually has to jump back right on there. And when he jumps back right, it puts you up in the air. Barsh is actually jumping left, so he's angled towards the corner. So just, theoretically, he's actually going forward. Chase ain't. So it's like, should I get in there? And then, of course, the dude changed. But you can't ask him to be a whole different person. That's why I said, like, the Colt 45s, and every once in a while, Adam Cinderella, y'all got to watch out. Like, you got to watch out. You might get knocked down. But, with Chase, he just letting them know, like, hey, you're going to cut me off like that. So, again, it was clean racing, just like the Deegan thing. Some misunderstanding with some text, right? And then he came in there. He didn't even give him a bam. He wasn't even one of those. He was just like, just kidding. That's how it was. And he just kept going. Bam! Bam! Cool. You keep throwing those bams.
I was trying to do bam bam.
Yeah, like that wasn't even bam bam. That was like, but almost got you. Just kidding. That's what it was. So they had the red light heard around the world, right? It was the red light district in Detroit. Dean Wilson's going backwards down the track. That's odd on there. Hey, I thought he retired too, but he came back. So he's going backwards down the track. There's a red crossing flag. Now, they all don't break the rules. Red cross flags, you stop. And I've had this situation happen to me, which sucks on there. You get caught off. I ended up on, like, the Cooper website where, look, the thing was flashing red. They jumped it, and then, like, I rolled it, but then they said that the crash happened before, and then they went in there, whatever. You say ENC lights. So this situation happens. They both rolled the first one. Chase says, like, I don't want Cooper next to me. I don't know. Like, the flashing lights, you can't miss them, people. They're right there. He saw them. And there was a guy that rolled the jump in front of him, too. So even if, like, you, like, question, the dude rolled the jump in front of you. Now, I don't know if he saw the lapper, but if you didn't see the lapper, he saw the red lights. He jumps that. They cost him 7 points. Now, when I first saw that, I thought, like, you're going to get, like, they dock positions. Like, they docked positions back in the day. Like, you finish third, you get fifth on there. They take time. They took points. Now, in Chase's situation, I think he'd rather just lose the race on there because that's 3 points. Like, I'd rather 3, 7, like, that's like him, what, equivalent, like, 4th, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th? I don't know. It ain't good. That's a big penalty, people. That's a big penalty. I mean, look, his bonus to winning that race, I should tell you, ain't close that amount to win that championship. And if he lose that thing within 7 points, he going to be pissed off. So I don't know where they get 7 at. I do like the number, but, in this situation, I don't think that was a 7-point penalty. That was, look, Cooper them thought they were going to catch you. I don't know. Like, who knows? But I know you probably, unless you would have, I don't think you would have got 4th. I don't think you would have went from 1st to 4th. I don't think that would have happened. I think you might have went to 4th to, like, 15th because you crashed like AP did. But I don't think you were going to get outran by those 3 points. I don't think you were going to lose 7 positions, have 7 points like that, and not crash. And basically, that's what they did on there. You might have well got 4th on that one. And when you got a title where everybody's like this close, 7 points. They've been talking about how close the championship's been. All these guys on there, 7 points, a big penalty, people. So yeah, I didn't think it was 7 points worth, but AMA does, and hey, that's the rules on there. And I congratulations, Jake. You're gonna get a neck burn today, but I know your ass is gonna be hot. Like, you're gonna be like Hunter Lawrence, PC burning hot. That's a 7-point double. That's a 7 double. I don't even know what it is, but damn. Aaron Plessinger. AP. Keep your chin up, dog. Keep that hair flowing in the back. Yeehaw Cowboy style. I don't know. We were talking about them lizards. I don't even know what them lizards, whatever, they like alligators, but that's an inside only AP and us at the KTM Baker's Factory. You know what that is. But dude, you were out there just like doing what you were doing. And to be honest with you, people, he's been riding good all year. He's been riding good all year. So I actually think AP might have been the first time he's been out front leading laps. I don't know, but first time he's been like this gone. But don't forget, he's a champion. He's won races, maybe not in this class, but he's won championships before. He's won outdoor title and he's won Supercross. So the dude knows how to win. So as unfamiliar this particular situation was, it is some kind of familiar to him about winning. So I think when he was out there, of course, he was nervous. He was nervous on there. He's like, this ain't wood racing. This ain't ruts out there. I ain't like, this is unfamiliar to me. But dude, I'm like riding pretty good. And I'm trying to like keep my heart rate down. And when you're in that situation, to be honest with you, like it almost like AP's out there riding right now, like woosah, just chill. Let me hit the jumps. Let me hit this. Cause nobody expect me to be out here. Like, nobody expect me to be running away from these guys right now. So if they catch me, that's what they expect to happen. So I'm just not going to blow it. Like, I'm just going to chill. And so he's out there not making no mistakes, really, and just pulling away because he's trying to calm his heart rate down, just trying to get through it. So I would say AP was out front in autopilot mode, like where he's, look, I'm going to keep doing these laps. If 54, whatever lap times they run, I'm just going to run that. I'm not even going to try to pull away from these guys. And what ended up happening, since he's been riding good all year, he ends up pulling away because he's just trying to pretend like he's at the practice track. So I think that's why you watch AP just roll away from these cats, because he kept riding like he was all year long. And he was like, I'm chilling and I'm pulling away from it. Damn, I might actually better win one of these things. And then he makes some mistakes and goes down. But I don't think it was a deer in the headlight situation. AP, it's been a while, but he's won championships and he knows how to get it done. And so for him, I don't think Cooper, Chase, I don't think none of those guys really like worried about him on there. Like, because, I mean, he was gone really, but he's not in that threat to where he was like Eli or Chase, Cooper's out front, like they got to race towards him. I don't think it would have mattered anyway. To be honest, AP was riding that good, but I just think like he got in there and he just was riding, to be honest with you. And I did pick him to win a race, so it's not shocking that he was doing. So all that being said, we had, look here, he was going to get his first win ever, right? He was going to get his first win. And then, like, it was just out of middle of nowhere. He was, like, the old school, like, the people thought, like, damn, did JS come out of retirement? Like, damn, did like, number 7 on the KTM? Like, he was, like, crazy. Like, I was like, oh, man, he's going to get the first ever neck burn. We're going to hit him with air. No, what? And then he hits the ground, people. He hits the ground. Bam. He hit it. Cole going to hit another one for him. Bam. I don't even know why he does it, but he does it. And then it was just like, whoa. And then, like, to be honest with you, people, it was probably the best thing that ever happened to Aaron. Like, people was like, man, I want to give him a hug. He was like, all that, he's like, it's kind of weird. Like, he had that, like, ragtail AP, like, on there. You're like, damn, like, should I hug him or not? Or are you going to wrangle me up? And I don't know. But then he had little tears coming. And he just felt bad. And he saw his feet flying all over there. And then he tried doing, like, a roll. Like I said, when things go wrong, safest position to get in. Aaron Fleshinger thought he was like a donut trying to roll over there. I don't know what the hell he was doing, but he did it. And the next thing you know, Chase Sexton coming through. It's like, what? That's what it feels like? That's what it feels like? To just be like rolling and be like, damn, this dude just crashed. He was winning. He should have won. I gave up. That's what it feels like? And then he was like going through there and he almost crashed through the whoops. He was like, wait, I didn't stand, And then so it went from Chase Sexton, Aaron Fleshinger, Chase Sexton catching Aaron Fleshinger, to Aaron Fleshinger pulling away to Aaron Fleshinger. Damn, that's what it feels like. Then Chase Sexton getting the second one he had all year long. And it wasn't a Triple Crown, people. Hell, he didn't even lead no laps on there until the end, until he needed to lead laps on there. Then he rolled past. It was like he was seeing himself on the ground. And he was like, damn, that's what it feels like. And what it feels like is I'm about to get a what, Cole?
Suntan, neck's on fire.
I'm about to get a neck burn, people. I got to get a neck burn. Last time I got one of those, it was like a long time ago, and I don't even remember. I think like he was Triple Crown. I don't even feel like they didn't even give out real neck burns on that one. Like they was like, damn, it's too much to keep throwing these players off. They need a little, whatever. We just let JS give him the neck burns. No fire comes off that. And Chase won that race. He was like, yeah, damn, man, they're going to get me with 7 points. But because I did double on that red cross flag. So I know he was kind of like indecisive, but maybe he knew the rules and I didn't. Like on there, he knew he was gonna win the race. They was just gonna take the points. Either way, I know that dude hot. I know he dude's hot. He doing burnouts and all the burnouts. So whoever's doing burnout, oh, that's AP. That wasn't burnout. I thought that was Daytona. That was AP smoking on there. Like damn, dude was like crying, smoking. AP, look, I'm gonna give you a hug. You bring some new fans out there, and you were dominant. You were dominant, so it's good for you. But hey, look. Chase had to get one in a while. He saw himself when he was looking at you, and he was like, damn, that's what that feels like. Now, I will say this little tidbit, fun fact, as Cole keeps saying. Fun fact, we riders, you want to know how much we up on situations? We on the toes. We know what's going on. I guarantee you, Cooper Webb, and this is just me. I don't even know if this is the way it was, but you pointed out, like, when he jumps that finish line, he pointed to Ian, like, Ian, you shouldn't even, I should point at you and you shouldn't even be there because you should be in the AMA letting them, reminding them that, look, homeboy jumped on this cross flag. Because, I was going to pass his ass anyway. That's what I was going to do. I was going to pass him back. So my point is, we up on stuff. I guarantee Cooper rode that race thinking that Chase was not going to win that race even if he won that race. Guaranteed. Like, I know he knew homeboy jumped on that flag because, he was right behind him on there. You get penalized. Them lights was on there. Everybody else rolled it. Lapper rolled it before you. And Dean Wilson was coming back. Like, I thought he retired, but he came back. He was on the back of the track. So he jumped it. So in his point, like, he stopped even racing Chase because I actually done that before. Like, you're like, dude, that dude's, why even try to pass it? It's kind of like what I was saying about AP. Look, he gone, right? Like, he ain't nothing to do about it, but I ain't really worried about him anyway. So whatever, he can do whatever. He can get a fake neck burn, whatever. Cooper probably was racing Chase as if Chase was not going to win that race, even if he finished in front of him, because he knew he broke the rules and he knew he was going to get docked. I almost put it on there as much as I said, look, Cooper Webb was going to win Tampa. I was right there, and I don't know. I just jumped the checkered flag because who the hell are you pointing at? Pointing at like, yeah, I got second. Cooper don't like that. So he knew. Fun fact. A great point, Cole. And they're not going to hear your points, but if in case they do, yeah, there's a lot of talk about, just that little bit of what Cooper does. And I think with this era, it's just different. Like, guys, they ride with each other. Like, it's mindsets are different. And I'm not even gonna be the old guy that talks about like how we used to do it on there, because I know like back in the day I used to get annoyed about that, so I don't even talk about that like, oh, we're tougher than them. Nah, it's just different, people. It's just different. But Cooper is an old style kind of person on there, and just like everybody has their fear of somebody else, like what people think. I always say this show is based on perception, like what people think and all this stuff. Cooper Webb is what others think. And he does throw those jabs. Like back in the day, the red plate holder, when he didn't even have it, I think he was letting Roxon know that he was about to take it away from him. And sure enough, dude took it away from him on there. Or letting Chase know, oh, I was going to pass him, but he decided to cheat, right? He decided to cheat. I'm beating this dude straight up. He cheated, right?
Just chilling, man. I kind of thought the penalty was coming, so I was just riding my race. I was getting a little dap on Eli.
So that's kind of what, I don't know if Cooper said cheated, but his mindset, he does say those things on there. And this is just me from my standpoint of why I would say that. And Cooper reminded me of like an old school racer, because maybe he's not the fastest on there, but he's like one of the most feared persons around. And that's because of things like that. Of course, you're going to tell homeboy that I was going to beat you anyway, but you decided to jump. I couldn't jump. So I stopped even racing you, son. I wasn't even racing you. That's like sometimes, and I'm not saying Cooper's like this, but when you get your ass kicked by somebody, you be like, oh, I was just playing. I wouldn't even play. Well, you really taking that victory? Like, whatever. Like, I wasn't even trying to race you. Like, that's kind of like what he does, but he does it authentically, like, because he knows, like, look, you know what? Look, dude, like, maybe I was going to catch you. In his mind, maybe he's saying what he actually really believes is going to happen. Maybe he does say, Ken, I am going to take the red plate, and he writes that down. Maybe he ain't playing. Maybe he's just saying, no, I'm about to tell you, I'm about to predict the future. Future, I'm going to rip the way and beat your ass. Future, I would have caught you. I don't know. But he says that to get in other people, whether he believes it or he's saying it for other different reasons, and that's why he's an old school racer. But you best believe this dude is saying things like that to let everybody else know, no matter what, no matter how much y'all do, no matter how slow or fast, I'm always going to be here, and I'm going to let it be known. And that stuff right there is powerful, baby. It's powerful. That's why I said, like, the way he pointed at dude, I actually do think he actually was racing Chase knowing that he wasn't going to race with him. And if he wasn't racing like that, he's going to make him believe that that's the way he was going. And no matter what Chase says or whatnot, he going to go, damn, like, really? Like, you really think he was doing that? Whatever. Fun fact. All right, people, you know what time it is. My favorite time, your favorite time. I know it's going to be AP's maybe not favorite time, but yeehaw! Stews and Stews. We'll be right back. What's up, guys? It's your boy James Stewart. You see this shirt I got on? Now, I know we all a family. We all be coming out here. Everybody wants to be a part of Bubba's world. I want to be a part of it. Well, if you want to, make sure you click on this link because you can get this shirt. At least you can get this far. We got a bunch of things coming in the future, some exciting things. And I know you send in your videos. Maybe you can end up on the show that way. But if not, always make sure you get this pretty shirt, black and white, and some more coming soon. Click this link right here. Go get yours. All right, people, you know what time it is. My favorite time, your favorite time. Hell, whose favorite time? Stew and Stews. Now, I know people, listen, I got a confession to make. Sometimes you just got to come clean. Sometimes you got to just say it, let it know. A couple weeks ago, I said, no more defaults. No more default Stews. Because you win the race, that means you a Stew. No matter how you get it, you default Stew. Now, as I'm sitting here doing the commercial break and you listen to the t-shirts or the 7 Gear, MX, whatever. You listen to one of those ads. I'm sitting here arguing with Cole. And he was like, oh, well, Chase is going to get a Stew. I'm saying Chase is going to get a Stew. And he's like, no, he can't get one. And I'm like, why? Well, because you win the race. You're 450 main event. I don't care. No, And I'm like, no, I kind of agree with you. Like, but at the same time, like, I'm like, well, dude, I am going out. So my point, people, listen, I'm going to make a confession. I got to go back on my word. I did say no more default Stews. I did say that. But I also said that if you win the race, you get a Stew. So I'm like coming back on my word, but I'm keeping one word like closed. So I think that keeps me even, which means you got to get a default Stew. Chase Sexton, hit it for him, Cole.
Suntan, next on fire.
Now, I know people, you're going to be like, whoa, what the hell is he talking about? Well, I'm talking about keeping one word and breaking the other one makes me even on there, like 7 points. You lose it. Look, he's got to get a Stew because you win races, and it is hard to win races, people. But I also know that he shouldn't have won the race on there because that was AP flying on there, which AP, with them tears and all that, and that neck roll you was trying to do, I'm going to hit you with a Stew too. And he didn't get one because, like, damn, like, I guess we got to hold him authentic because you can't, like, finish 15th and get a Stew. So I get it. Get it, Cole. Don't hit it. Don't whatever. He didn't want to give it to you anyway. AP, you a Stew in my book. You're going to get one. So all good. But Chase Sexton, you a default Stew only for this one. But you can also say, like, Eli was default Stew one time. And I said that. And then I finally said no more. But I brought it back this weekend. So you a D-Stew. Whatever. Cole didn't want to get you one.
We don't have a Stew sound drop.
Well, yeah, that's why it's just, you just got something. Hit him something, Cole. Bam! That ain't it. Well, that's what it's going to have to be like. So, Chase, that's what you get. All right. And then AP, you're going to get one anyway. Don't hit it because I don't want you to give something. We keep it real on this thing. If Cole don't want to hit it.
What about this? What about this? That was a stadium for AP when he gave that interview.
Okay. All right. But then they forget about you as they sitting in traffic, mad as hell on there like, damn. So, you know, if we give you claps, AP, look, man. You know you want it real. You a champion. You want the claps. You were holding back them tears on there. So anyways, we're getting off subject, people. AP, you a Stu on there, but you'll be a real Stu in there. Chase, you, whatever. And then also, like, I got to say, like, Detroit crowd, like, I heard y'all came out, like, almost 50,000 of y'all on there. Detroit, y'all always be showing up on there. And I did not get hit by a beer bottle in Detroit, so I ain't got nothing but love for y'all. So anyways, AP, you a Stu, Chase, I gave you a Stu, even though, like, he was default. But again, like, you know, what goes around comes around. You're like, damn, that's what that feels like. Again, you a Stu as well. And Detroit, Michigan crowd, home at 8 Mile, the future. Are y'all ready? Y'all Stews as well. All right, next list. Stewed, pissed off. Pissed off because you just out front dominating. Pissed off because you out front dominating, and pissed off because you're like, next thing you know, I'm trying to do a neck burn turn. Like, am I like going back to Olympics? No, what? Is that my hair flipping? I don't know. I'm laying on the ground. Cole has a photo of me down there praying like, take me, Jesus, now, because I just blew this thing away. Damn, that's what that feels like. On there, you didn't know what was going on. Pissed off, stewed. Now, AP, I don't even think you were stewed. So, if you wasn't stewed, then why'd I even say your name? Hey, you know what? This section is going to be confusing. That's what it is. Confusing, because that was confusing why I did all that stewed, and this is confused. AP, you confused, because first off, you out front pulling away from these cats. And I know you've been riding good all year, but you like, damn, only JS say I'll be riding good. You said I'm going to win. And we were talking about that weird whipper capper, whatever thing, that thing, salami, or I don't know what it is. Like, it's some lizard in Africa that be slapping people with their tail on there. It's like a mini alligator, a bearded dragon, but just way bigger, like way bigger. Yes, confused. AP, you confused because you were dominating, talking about that, and then you were winning, then you were flying W, and then you decided to do this like neck thing. I think you just like, you didn't know what to do on there. Your feet go flying, then you land, you hit the gas, and you kind of pulled like one of those, you know, Cody Shock ones when you just decided like, I'm just going to hit it, but you kind of fell off the back, and you always hanging off the back anyway, so you had no choice. But then that period where you decide to do like the neck thing, I'm still trying to break that down. So we have to get back to you on that. That's confusing to me. So AP, you down there, then you laying on the ground, then you like, I'm dead. Then a guy comes by with another photo of Cole, show you, which is somebody helping you up. Then you're like, I feel dead on there. So you were just confused because you didn't know what was going on. And so AP, you confused. Now the other one, Jordan Smith and Hayden Deegan. Now I think this is like one of those ones, people. It's like when you're arguing with somebody, or let's just say you in a bad mood. Somebody sends you a text like, what up, right? You in a bad mood, so you're like, what up? Oh, no, no, didn't. So I think that's what happened. I think George Smith was blind. He was flying past Hayden on there. Hayden goes in there like, nah, I'm rookie. I'm making my own on there. Not that. Gets in there. Kind of like the Barcia and Chase situation where like, you look, you got to gas it all the way through the woods. Well, you know, Jordan, you going on the outside. You know, Hayden Deegan, he got him. All his followers on there, and he trying to make a name for himself. He goes in there, comes in a little hot, think he looks at you, and then you think he looking at you as like a block pass on there, and then you kind of go down the side, and you give him a little like, Hayden said, I ain't going to take that. He goes in that corner. He's like, nah, I'm just playing in there. Then you come out the corner. You start looking back. Hayden ain't taking that. You saw what he did to Jerry Martin on there. He came in to give you a little bump on there, didn't like, damn, all hell broke loose. So my point is, it was confusing, just like this segment is. It was confusing because I think, Jordan, you might have read the text wrong. I don't even think he meant it that way. He was like, what up? You thought he was like, what up? Like he was threatening you. And then that situation got really, it escalated real quick. And the next thing you know, you got slung down. The next thing you know, you went down again. The next thing you know, I'm getting my 7 MX, and you know, that's where we get our play in the last chance. Your ass had to go down, bro. Like, look, it wasn't even personal. I was like cheering for you. Then I was like cheering for the other guy because I was like, well, like, should I be a company guy, or should I be like, I like Jordan, no? Like, I didn't know what he did. And then he just decided for you because he knew, like, just like he scrubbed scrubbed his ass on the ground. He had to go for it. Boss man looking. I got to take you out. I'm sorry, man. I'd take you out. So, yes, Jordan Smith, it escalated real quick. She was just calling to say what up on there. You were in a bad mood. You took it the wrong way, and she dumped you. And that's what happened. So that was confusing on there. And then next thing you know, last one, which is another one. And he's on there for a different reason. Mr. Chase Sexton. Yes, you are confused on there because you were like winning. And then wait, hold up. No, you was not winning. And then next thing you know, you were looking over there and you saw AP on the ground. You're like, damn, that looks familiar. So that's what that feels like on there. Then you go up there, you almost crash in the whoops. Then you get a neck burn on there. And then you realize that, you know what? I just won this race. And yeah, I'm going to get a first place check, but I'm going to get a fourth place points. Like, what the hell's that? Like, if Cooper won, they took all these points, 7 points. Are you kidding me? So you were getting the news when Lars came in, gave you a hug, and it wasn't even like a real hug. It was like one of those ones that you're like, I'm going to hug him, just save peace. I know what's going on. And you knew Cooper Webb, he wouldn't even finish this race. He was writing his protest down. Like, he was like, look, you can't have them points. That dude jumped. And then he goes up there and says, like, look, I don't let him win because, you know, he jumped on there. I wasn't even paying attention. It was confusing. So Cole's back there behind the camera saying, like, look, let's wrap this up. And I'm going to wrap it up, people, because you know why? Because this whole segment is confusing as hell on there. So that's it, people. You might not even hear any of that. So, all right, people, that was it where you had those stews and confused list. And that was it from Detroit where you had you had Chase. I mean, technically he won, but you really had Cooper Webb winning because he came out with more points than anybody else. So I don't know who won, people. It's confusing as hell. I really don't on there. And that was it from round 11. And they're going, where the hell are they going at?
Seattle.
What up, Seattle? I actually love that place. Really love that place. I really didn't even know what round they were going to. It's round like 12, something like Seattle. But anyways, Seattle, Washington, where they somewhere way up there, not the other Washington. And what we'll see, whatever happens this time, Chase is going to be 7 points lighter than he was when he finished this race. And Cooper is going to still have the red plate. And Eli, as bad as his neck is and his back, and he ain't letting him crashing, he's still only 3 points down. And so we'll see what happens next. Until then, I got to stop talking.